Hi, and welcome. Thank you for joining. In this video, as I show the growth of these seedlings 28 days after sowing them, I want to discuss 7 tips on starting your vegetables from seeds indoors. Now, one thing to note is location is important. For instance, you may, if you do not have a location with adequate light, you perhaps need a grow light. Now, you do not need to spend a lot of money on a fancy or expensive grow light if it's just for the purpose of germination. You can simply get a simple fluorescent light, and that will be adequate to aid in the germination. So the first thing I would like to discuss is your soil. You want to use a soil mix that retains moisture while providing a light, airy growing medium that promotes seed germination and root development. And remember, when you're planting these seeds, spread the mix evenly over the tops of the seeds to a depth of 2 times the seed diameter. Tiny seeds and those that require light to germinate should lie directly on the surface of the soil. And one thing you want to ensure when you're planting is each seed must be firm in contact with the moist surface to germinate. So to ensure that happens, gently tap down on the surface. So the next thing I want to talk about is moisture, and selecting the correct soil or the ideal soil will ensure that. But your seeds will germinate if they are kept evenly moist. So before sowing the seeds, thoroughly moisten the seeds starting medium, and also ensure that the soil or the medium does not dry out. That will be very important. So one thing you can do is, if you're using trays like the one shown here, you can actually place them in trays with water and just ensure that that tray doesn't dry up, especially if you would have to leave town or so forth. That will ensure that there will be a constant supply of water to the trays. Now, the other important factor, this is the third factor I'd like to mention, and that is warmth. Different seeds like different temperature to germinate and thrive. So some crops that prefer cool soil, like spinach, I noticed the spinach, they did well. They need some heat to sprout and grow excellent stocky plants. Typically 70 degrees and above is ideal. As I mentioned, I'm housing the seed trays in a heated greenhouse. So, another component, some people may consider using heating mats. That perhaps work if you are sowing a small amount at a time, because in large quantities it would require quite a bit of heating mats. These heating mats you can get online or from a garden center, and these typically you place under the tray. So despite the heating source, as you look at the growth of the seedlings, you'll see a slow start. Like many other states, Georgia have experienced 5 nights of deep freeze. So these plants were growing during that time, and so the growth was slowed down for a little bit. And I think maybe that may be the reason why some plants or seeds did not germinate. So this was a good indicator of the seeds that will germinate in lower temperatures, despite the fact that they're heating. These hard freeze, those are temperatures, or deep freeze. These are temperatures that are below 24 degrees Fahrenheit. It caused the temperature in the greenhouse to dip somewhat. So what I noticed though is once the period of low temperature passed, there was vigorous growth for these cold weather crops. The spinach, lettuce, and radish was some of the better performance. I planted 2 varieties of kale. I noticed that one is growing more vigorously than the other. So I am now informed about the array to select if I sow seeds during the winter. And so that's bring me to a point. It's very important to keep some record, and that way that will help in planning for the next time around. So light, again, most of these seeds require light. So once your seeds germinate, they need lots of light, or you'll end up with weak, leggy plants. And that especially happens when they're indoors and the light is not adequate. So if you're using artificial light, ensure that it's very close to the seed trays or the pots or whatever you're using. So the plants here are receiving adequate light, located here on the top shelves, and they're getting their light from the south side. Alternatively, again, if you do not have a greenhouse, place the seed trays in a bright window spot that will keep your seed, and where it is bright, you will have direct sunlight. And your light source, again, if you're using artificial light, should be 4 or 5 inches above your plant. The 5th factor I would like you to consider is ventilation. So one tip for growing sturdy, stocky plants that can take the outdoor weather is to have a breeze floating across the plants throughout the day. If the tiny seedlings feel that breeze, they will grow thicker stems, which will help protect them when you transplant them outside. So in this greenhouse, I have fans placed at strategic points in the greenhouse, but they're far enough from the seed trays to create a light breeze. Also have a exhaust fan close by in this area, and so that helps to circulate the air. And as a result, these seedlings, as shown here, they are doing well. They are quite sturdy, and they're looking healthy. So the 6th tip I would like to share is in terms of irrigation. What I would like to mention is ensure that the soil does not dry out. You can use a mist setting on your irrigation nozzle, as it is much gentler than a watering can, and it won't dislodge your delicate seedlings. And also, as I also mentioned, you can have the trays that hold water, and you can fill those trays with water, and this way they will uptake the amount of water they need as necessary. And this is also important in the event that the seedlings are ready to transplant and you're not ready as yet. You can actually add a liquid fertilizer mix into the tray, and the plant could feed from that. So there are a lot of benefits to be derived from such approach. The 7th tip I would like to mention is in terms of transplanting. So once your seedlings develop the true leaves, they'll need supplemental feeding with a liquid fertilizer to continue producing strong, healthy growth. In my approach, I did not fertilize, but instead I placed the seedlings directly in the beds and containers. So one of the good things, I have areas already prepared so that will not be an issue. I will be planting some of these crops in the hoop house. It is very convenient doing so. It's convenient doing so because there's a micro irrigation system already in place. I could have it on the automatic setting, and so that will require very little maintenance. So I will be showing in a separate video the hoop house, and I will be keeping you abreast on how they progress in the greenhouse. So this is day 28, and at this point I am ready to get them transplanted, as I mentioned. And we could see that even after 28 days there was some problem. The butter crunch lettuce did not germinate. The wild lettuce did not germinate. So I will have to plant at another point, maybe when it warms up, and see what happens. Now these are radish, and they're doing quite well. This was the kale that did not perform as well, because I planted much more here, but the germination was scanty. Here I have some carrots. They are growing slowly, so it looks like they prefer much warmer temperatures. These are some collard seeds that I discovered in the hoop house from previous plants, so they germinated. Now there's some mustard greens. Now this variety of kale actually did much better, and so here is my tray. I have them all packed on the wagon, ready to be transferred to the hoop house for planting. Pretty exciting, and I will definitely provide you with the updates on how things are going. Thank you for watching.